Quick update on some trans issues, folks. This comes courtesy of Aaron Reed. A federal judge apparently just issued a ruling in Pennsylvania. Just take a look here. In count 4, plaintiffs assert that the district, Steinhauer, Irvin, and Weiland violated their constitutional rights under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment by refusing to allow them to have notice and the ability to opt their children out of Williams' instruction on transgender topics while permitting similarly situated parents to opt out of instruction on numerous other topics. District representatives have sent advance notice and the ability for parents to opt students out of participation in the assembly involving a therapy dog for certain movies to be shown in class, including The Bad Guys, The Tiger Rising, Invictus, which concerns Nelson Mandela and apartheid, and The Giver. For lunch group meetings with a school counselor, for past surveys, for the Scripps Spelling Bee, for stories related to Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa, dissection of animals in biology, and video clips from a TV series that involves a homosexual character. And if you're like, what does all that mean? Basically, a judge in Pennsylvania just ruled that parents had their rights violated by not having the ability to opt out of being taught about transgender people. So, basically saying, if you're a bigoted parent and you don't want your kids to learn that trans people exist, you should have the ability, constitutionally, to opt your kids out of those lessons. It really is awful. Like, we're on the brink here of like absolute destruction of queer people's civil rights, and I think a lot of people don't really realize, like, we are not in a time where like queer rights are solidly protected by the United States government. We're not in that time. And like, I don't know how to make people realize that we're in a precarious place. If Donald Trump wins, we are going to see all of the gains we made over like the last 50 years eradicated, basically overnight. He'll issue an executive order banning a slew of LGBTQ issues, topics, whatever, from being in public. And the courts are going to try and sort it out. It's going to take a while, and they're basically going to come down and say, "Oh, well, Donald Trump was able to do this, but not that, and this and that." But it's going to take like 5 years, and by then he'll have solidified more of his power, and he'll just be like, "Oh, well, I'll do it again, and this time it's more legal." Like, we are really on the precipice here of like a full retraction of all of the rights we have worked very hard to obtain. And I don't think people realize how precarious it all is. I and a lot of other people will leave the country if Trump wins. Well, I think that if you are a queer person and Trump wins, you should absolutely get out of the country. But unfortunately, like, so many queer people in America do not have the means to get out. It sucks. So, like, this is why I really, really, really have no patience for people who are trying to be cute with third-party votes or, to sit out of the election. Like, we're in a time period where things are about to get either marginally better or so much worse than we can possibly imagine. And I do think that right now the polling looks pretty good for Harris, but like, it's still so close. It should not be this close. We should not be going into this election with a hint of doubt as to the outcome, and yet here we are. You know? it's likely not. The polling is garbage. But you understand that when, like, the main data points we have is the polling, that, like, I don't want to be complacent. Like you understand that I, as a content creator, that it has like a duty to inform people. Like, I can't just be like, oh well, it's fine. Let's just ignore it until the election day. Like, we can't do that. We need to get people out there knocking on doors, phone banking. We need to get people out there volunteering for the campaigns. Not suggesting complacency, just hope. And that is fair game. I do not want people to feel like we can give anything less than 110% this election cycle. Yeah, there was like a statement floating around social media of Jill Stein's VP pick, talking about how the only thing that matters is ensuring that Kamala Harris lose. And like I understand the impulse, but I can't condone that course of action. Does that make sense? Like, I can't, like, I understand the impulse to just want to say fuck everything and like burn it all down, but the cost of doing that is going to be untold numbers of lives, both here in America and exponentially more abroad. Ay, ay, ay. Also, is Twitch chat awake? Is Twitch chat working? Sorry, I just haven't seen it update in a minute. I'm feeling the angst again. Let's go. Okay. Thank you, Hail Soybek.